Still have a minute.
At the camera, I just turned it on, so.
Got my horse imitation?
No, he had the cameras on.
Yes.
I am opening, my heart is ready to see. I am opening, my heart is ready to see. I am opening, my heart is ready to receive.
And so let's take a moment right now and turn within, or wherever that place in your consciousness that tells you all is well, or that place in your heart which tells you, I yearn for more, that real place within you. And so connect with that heart and set your intention for this day. What good do you want to receive? Because infinite good is available to us, but we can only receive as much as we open ourselves up to. So claim the good that you desire, and somehow, in some way, it will be delivered.
I am opening, my heart is ready to receive. I am opening, my heart is ready to receive.
So good morning.
Good morning.
Is your heart ready to receive?
Yes.
Yes! So, thank you for joining us this morning at the Center for Spiritual Living Princeton. We are a loving, healing, and inclusive community which teaches and practices the principles of the science of mind for the well-being and spiritual growth of ourselves and the world. And we've been that for a long time. And we're continuing to be that. And we welcome you to be part of that community. You can come down here to 345 River Road in Princeton, or as you are from home. We really want to know that you are part of this community, because our only reason to be here is that we want to learn and grow and live the life according to the teachings of the science of mind. Next week, we have Lori Carlson, our practitioner from our Morristown Center, who's a wonderful speaker. I don't know the subject she's going to be speaking on, but I always look forward to hearing her, so please join us for that. And the week after that, Elaine Silver, who has this absolutely wonderful musical ministry, is going to be here. She doesn't really give a talk. What she does is she sings. And she teaches the science of mind through music. So it's really a delight. And here's our friend Scott, who hasn't been here in a while, and it's great to see him. So welcome, Scott.
Thank you.
So, welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Princeton. Today we have Reverend Karen Kushner, one of our favorite speakers. And so now's the time to welcome, bring your energy in, be ready to sit and listen from your heart the wonderful message we've got, and our practitioner today is Regina Points. So thank you so much.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I'm so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. When I say yes, when I say yes, I am so grateful for all that I have. When I say yes, I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
Good morning.
Good morning.
As John mentioned, I am Regina Quince, a licensed practitioner here at the Center for Spiritual Living, Princeton. Hello, hello, hello. I was kind of like in a daze for a moment. When I look out and I see the lushness, the abundance that's all around us here in this room, and the abundance in this room, it kind of took me away. I don't know if anybody else had that experience. They're like, oops, POD, I've got to get up. So I'm going to give you a little excerpt from Raymond Charles Barker. I really enjoy Raymond Charles Barker because he's a no-nonsense. He was a no-nonsense guy. And I modeled that, hopefully with kindness. But I really work on modeling that. And so this talk, I shouldn't say talk, but this essay is from his book on collective wisdom. And it's an essay titled Man Without Limitation. So I took excerpts from it, and then I extracted what I would consider affirmations after that. Now I have a couple of copies of this, and I'll put the copies over on the table after I speak. Okay, just in case you want to go through it this week. So, Man Without Limitation. There is a mind that knows. There is a law that acts. There is spirit that gives of itself, and I am its individualization. It works through me, but I have been concentrating on problems. In my imagination, I have built tremendous problems. I have accepted them, sat back in them, and enjoyed self-pity and the sympathy of others. It is time that I arose and went unto my Father. It is time that I finished with the husk of my problems and began to assert myself and dissolve my negativities. That is what Isaiah talked about, to run and not be weary. Because you know that the power that causes you to run is the power that maintains you as you run. Whatever the nature of God is, you are its embodiment. You are its action. You are it made visible at the point where you are. Say to yourself, I am weary of wasting energy on the problems I accept. Within me is the Christ, the living Son of God, and I am it. And it is unconditional and free. I now look beyond my problems to the solution. At the moment, I may not see how it is going to happen, when it is going to happen. Let me repeat that. At the moment, I may not see how it is going to happen, when it is going to happen. But at least I know it will happen, which is more than most people do. This is the science of mind. Manipulate your ideas for progressive, creative, forward movement, and cease tarrying in the comfort of your problem. We should run and not be weary. We should walk and not faint. We should rise up with youth like the eagle, and we should soar with our minds centered on God. So now here are the affirmations. Repeat after me. I am in an unobstructed universe.
I am in an unobstructed universe.
I am absolutely convinced
I am absolutely convinced
that I exist in a universe
that I exist in a universe
that is the operation of my mind.
that is the operation of my mind.
I am in charge of my personal affairs.
I am in charge of my personal affairs.
The universe
The universe
and all-knowing intelligence
and all-knowing intelligence
gives itself to me.
gives itself to me.
I am the expression of God.
I am the expression of God.
I am unlimited now.
I am unlimited now.
I become greater from within
I become greater from within
in the operation of my own mind.
in the operation of my own mind.
I am grateful this is the truth.
I am grateful this is the truth.
I am set free.
I am set free.
And so, this treatment, this affirmative prayer, is for each one here, each one listening and viewing this live stream. For each one on their way, wish they had the unlimited power to be here. Each one laying in their problems, and each one wanting to rise and be free. For there's only one. There's one mind, one intelligence, one harmony, order, power, light. peace, abundance. And it's been given to each one, embodied within each one, managed by each one. Therefore, each one allows the goodness and the graciousness and the favor that is Spirit itself, created by Spirit, to be here fully, to allow the freedom to be here fully, to allow their dreams and desires to unfold in the guidance of this divine intelligence, to allow divine intelligence to lead the way and to accept to be the follower of these ideas. And for those crazy moments of doubts, fears, weary, dis-ease, uncomfortableness, each one knows it's not the truth. It's for dissolving. Each one allows them to be dissolved. Each one allows the guidance that is given to them from this divine intelligence to dissolve these issues. And each one, knowing each one is the I am that I am, the I am that I am allows the goodness and the graciousness and the gratitude to transcend into their experience by faith, by truth. So this word is in law, already done, already resolved. And so say with me, and so it is.
So it is. So this song seems to be pretty apropos for the way, for our times. It's always apropos for all times, but the things that are going on in the world seems to work. And everybody knows it. How many roads must a man walk down before they call him a man? And how many seas must a white dove sail before she sleeps in the sand? And how many times must the cannonballs fly before they forever ban? The answer, my friends, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. How many years can a mountain exist before it is washed in the sea? How many years can some people exist before they're allowed to be free? And how many times can a man turn his head and pretend that he just doesn't see? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. How many times must a man look up before he can see the sky? Yes, and how many years must one man have before he can hear me cry? Yes, and how many deaths will it take till he knows that too many people have died? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. Thank you, Bob.
Yo.
And now it is time for the Reverend Dr. Karen Kushner to come and give us her words of wisdom so that we can go forth into this life and maybe bring wisdom to others. So it is.
So it is. All right. Welcome. Well, I feel like I need to maneuver here. Rearrange the furniture. Right. So I spoke the last time that I was here about Reverend Loyd Strom, who made his, he decided to make this transition. I just learned some of the inner details of his last few days, and yeah, he had made his decision, that's it, I'm leaving, and 2 days later, gone. So it seems like that's a choice that some highly evolved people in our own community have done that. And we, each one of us, should we ever choose to move on, could do it just as easily. We don't need a lot of drama and pain and suffering, whatever. We could just say, okay, I'm out of here. Thank you very much. And it's interesting that Reverend Loyd Strom made that decision because he dedicated his life to developing spiritual practices that would transform the physical body into what he called the resurrection body, into the body that Judge Thomas Troward spoke about in his lectures, about the body that could regenerate itself forever after. And Judge Thomas Troward said that the consciousness that can create perfect health in the physical body is the same consciousness that could have it continuously regenerate itself, and the consciousness that actually could transform it into that full prime consciousness of youth and vitality. Or in other words, a physical body that would be a full representation of eternal life. And so that was what he dedicated his spiritual work for. And yet he decided to leave. What's that about, right? Makes you wonder. And so I've had a lot of questions about life, eternal life, making that decision to move on, and what the human race believes about it. And Loyd Strom and his cohort, Reverend Marcia Sutton, as well as other great ones in the New Thought movement, had some sort of understanding of what eternal life is. And a realization that now, already, we already are eternal. Eternal isn't time, that there is some aspect of ourselves that is eternal. It is infinite. And when we identify with it, we experience that more and more in our lives. However, here we are, we've got our situations. We had that great wisdom from Raymond Charles Barker via Regina Quince about dwelling in our problems and making that decision to move through them. And so another thing that Loyd Strom liked to do was support us in determining what's causing us to wallow in a particular problem, a particular situation. So today I'm focusing on money, value, and wealth. He and Marcia developed a whole course called The Principles of Financial Freedom. And I've taught it a few times, and I've spoken about these principles a lot over the years because I need to, I gotta keep working on it. Because what they have said regarding these topics is quite different than what you hear elsewhere. So, the purpose of money. What do you suppose the purpose of money is?
Energy.
Energy? What's its purpose?
To exchange.
Yes.
Exchange of goods and services.
Yes, and it's right. It was developed to make it easier to exchange our goods and services with each other. It forces us to be in relationship with each other, exchanging goods and services, and we use money, even if it's all, virtual, and you never meet the person that you're sending your money to. There's a person somewhere receiving that money. And so Loyd Strom says the purpose of money is love. Because the purpose of love is relationship. Whenever love fails to draw us into relationships through mutual attraction, it uses our need for money to accomplish that same purpose. While love can be tender and gentle, it can also be quite demanding when it uses money to insist that we remain in relationship with other human beings. How many of you have ever heard of, or even had perhaps, the fantasy of, I want to win the lottery, and then I'm going to find an island somewhere where there's no people, and I'm just going to, do my work there, or I'm just going to sit in the sun or something? Or how many of us want more money in order to get out of the relationships or the environment that we are in? And it doesn't seem to work. Have you noticed that? Have any of you, anyone, or a company in your life that you absolutely do not want in your life anymore, but you have to be, and somehow money is what's forcing you to be there? Maybe you're connected financially. I know years and years after I separated from my former spouse, I was a minister here, so this is a number of years after, and I remember going through my whole home, all my objects, all my possessions, and releasing all the memories around him that I felt bad when I saw them, like photos that I felt bad. I mean, there were some good things, whatever, but things that just made me feel bad. And so the wedding dress went, and a lot of wedding photos went, and I kept the ones of me and my dog. They look cute, my wedding gown with a little poodle on my lap. But so it was a little cleansing I did. But I remember at one point sitting back and saying, oh, there's one more thing where we are attached. Even though I hadn't seen him or heard from him for like 10 years, we jointly owned property. We bought on our honeymoon this piece of property on a mountain that was being developed into being a ski resort. After we paid cash for it, it went bankrupt. So we have this worthless acreage on some mountain in West Virginia, I think it was. And we had to pay taxes every year on it, like $30, something like that. And for a number of years after we split, I took care of that, but that at some point I said, could you take care of this now? My life is changing quickly, and I don't think that I can remember to pay this every year. He's like, sure, fine. So he took it over. But so I had no contact with him, no contact with the property. He was handling the whole thing, this worthless piece of property on top of some mountain. And it came into my mind. We're still attached. We're still attached. My name's on that property. And I thought, okay, I want to let it go. And so in my heart, I'm a minister now, so theoretically I have a better consciousness, or I knew what to do. So I did it. In my heart, I gave him full ownership of the property. And I gave it to him in love. In love. I did a treatment. This is yours. No contact with him, but it's all yours. Cut the cords. I let it all go. A year later, he tracks me down in my office here at the church. And he said that he found a buyer for this property. And he needed me to sign the papers to finish the sale of the property. And I was like, because I knew what I did. And so I said to him, look, a year ago, I sat down and in my heart, I gave this entire property to you. You own it. I will sign the papers. It is yours. You take all the money. It's yours. And you've been handling it, it's yours, free and clear. Send me the papers, I'll sign it. And he's like, what? Because that actually kind of was not how I was when we were married. But I had changed. And you see, the reason why I'm bringing up that story was, it was an act of pure love. It was a spiritual practice, because I might not necessarily have been feeling pure love about him, but I made that choice that, look, it's over. That's not who I am anymore. That's not who he, and there's no need for any ties between us. So I was just guided to do that, and I did it, and I did it happily. I was free of all that, and then the property got sold. See, because it was only there, that link on the paper, because it was a place where I had not yet learned to love. And when I took that step, I learned how to love. And then that need for money to keep us together in relationship was unclicked. And so the property sold. A worthless piece of property on a mountain sold to somebody who wanted it. What were they thinking? The divine took care of it. So see, the purpose of money is love. And he says, wherever and whenever love seems absent, money steps in to fulfill its purpose and keep us in relationship with others, especially those for whom we have very little love. How many of you have worked anywhere where you did not love your employer or the employment circumstances or the job or what you had to do or the hours? I'm seeing hands raised out there. Yes, I'm seeing your hand raised too, right? And that is another place where we have to learn to love. It's not the emotion of love that we're talking about, that human emotion. We're talking about the divine love and calling on divine love as well as divine peace and divine joy. We've got all the qualities of the divine, God itself, whatever name you want, that God will become, no problem, right? Very amenable. Thank you very much. Except for, why didn't I do well in my rowing race yesterday? We're still having a conversation. But that love, that purpose of life itself is to express love. It is energy, and it creates relationships. It wants the divine created human beings. We look like we're separate, but it's one God wanting to relate to itself. And we're the ones that God is using to relate to itself by relating to each other. And what does the divine want? It wants to relate in order to express its love. And because we don't want to express its love with everybody, it created money to make us. This so-and-so is in our face, right? Until we learn to love. Which is a practice of calling on love, show me the way. It might be a practice of forgiveness. It might be a practice of letting go. It might be a practice of being brought to our knees and surrendering to something that our own ego doesn't, right? Because we're right? Usually the relationships we have problems with, doesn't it kind of like come down to I'm right, they're wrong, or they shouldn't be that way? It's filled with judgment. Judgment and love don't go hand in hand. So in order to heal us from our blockages to the full, complete circulation of love, money is used. So money's a good thing, right? And when we're, because of the money, we've got somebody there, we know I have more love to learn. So years ago, as I was on that cusp of becoming a full-time minister here, I was studying, applying these principles, and back then, I had revolutionized my whole life. I had begun my working career in offices with lots of paper, and every so often looking up going, what am I doing here? I don't know. Go back down in. I needed the money, whatever. Didn't matter how much money I actually had. Got to work for the money. That's what you do. Plus, I enjoyed it a little bit, but it was whatever. Anyway, so I decided after I came to this teaching that I was an actress. And I left the bank that I was working for to become the actress and to just know financial freedom and all that sort of stuff. And I had a whopping good few years spending all the money I had saved from working at the bank and enjoying every moment of it and finally being free to know that I would never let myself be abused again in a work environment. So I had learned a lot. But at a certain point, I had no money. I wasn't that good an actress, so I wasn't receiving any money from that particular avenue. So I was guided to go back into the working force. But because I had been on this spiritual journey and on this teaching, I'm like, all right, and that was before Loyd Strom, by the way, before I knew him. I thought, I have to go back into the workforce, but I'm going to do it with love. So I did a spiritual mind treatment that I am respected, appreciated, valued, and enjoyed, which were the new qualities I had learned to accept for myself, that I am using my highest talents and abilities, and I am receiving my highest income. And after treating like that for many months, I added, and I am loving everything that I do, which morphed into, I love my life completely. So I was an actress with all my acting friends around me who were also in this teaching, and I remember getting guided to go back into the corporate world, a 9 to 5 job. Actually, it was 8:30 to 5:30 job with a half an hour lunch. And my acting friends were like, don't go back, don't go back. You know, you're free, you've been set free, don't go back. And I'm like, I'm being guided to go back. And I think I have unfinished business there. So I went back, determined to learn what was there for me to learn so that I could be set free of it forever. And I knew my task was to practice loving instead of so I did that. And The job that I was given was absolutely impossible to do. Totally impossible. I didn't even have the know-how to do the job that was mine to do. And who knows how the heck I got fired. Really, what were they thinking? But I was convinced I was the person for them to hire, and eventually, after several months of interviews, they hired me. But when I remember when I first walked into that office, I had in my teaching and in my study, I was ready to become a minister. I was almost all the way through ministerial training. So here I am walking back into this corporate office with a consciousness that was much higher than what years earlier when I left the corporate world. And I'm like, I am here to love. And I walked into the office and I saw how impossible the job was and how unqualified I was. And I thought, okay, only God can do this job. So God, guide me. I surrendered every day to God's guidance for every moment of that day to do what needed to be done and to do it with my full heart, my full attention, whether the emotion was there or not. And if I was bored or if I was miserable, I treated that this company only has people who fully love their jobs and are fully engaged. And then I would do a treatment for myself that I love what I do. I started treating for the company because I'm about to be a minister. I was a practitioner. I got a client. It's this business. I treated every day for this business. This business, almost immediately after I was hired, filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy. And somehow I would get sales reports every week, which who knows why, had nothing to do with my job. But I'm like, okay, there's a sign. I can use the weekly sales reports to determine the effectiveness of my spiritual work with this company. I took them on as a client, unasked. But if you belong, you can treat. You want to treat for a group? If you belong to the group, you can treat for the group, right? You've got a voice. They could kick you out. And as I treated for them, I realized when I said every single employee loves their job and is giving their best, I realized I could get fired because I'm not in the mood. I'm crabby or whatever, or I'm not liking it. But they didn't fire me. I kept treating for them, and I would graph the weekly sales. And my boss, the executive vice president, never made any comment whatsoever about these graphs that I would post on the wall of my office. And he knew I was training to become a minister. Never talked about that either. But first year, it was all bad. And the second year, the sales equaled the sales of the prior year. And the third year, they started increasing. And they came out of Chapter 11 paying dollar for dollar. And the executive vice president was made the president. And during this time of transition and turmoil, miraculous or unheard of leniencies was given to this company by the court. Allowed to close the stores that were unprofitable. They started opening up 40 new stores a year while they're in Chapter 11. And when they came out of Chapter 11, that's when they appointed my boss the president, and that's when I left the company to become I had to go part-time. No, I left it, and I became a full-time minister here. But you see, the job that I had to do with this company, I'm really not good at it. I was in charge of negotiating their store leases. If you've worked with me at all, you might realize I might not be very good at that. Because I might say, whatever you want. But I couldn't do that, I had to do that. I prayed before every negotiation that the greatest good of all is done. But then also that I spoke the truth that was needed for this company to be spoken. That I said clearly what our company would agree to and what it would not. And that it was all done harmoniously. And I never had a difficult negotiation with any landlord, any shopping mall. And eventually we hired someone else who loved to argue, and he worked for me, and so I would give him all the negotiations where there would be arguments. And he'd be loving it. I'd hear him yelling in his office and everything. But I never yelled at I just talked with people. But I was afraid of conflict before this. Afraid of conflict, afraid of face-to-face confrontation, legal stuff all over the place. I mean, my office quickly became piles of stuff because everything was bogged down because of the Chapter 11 process, whatever you need, special language, blah, blah, blah. I'm discussing with lawyers, I'm discussing that, we've got blah, 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 blah. But the infinite wisdom within me knew the job, and it told me what to do. It got so weird for my boss that he would, from day one when I sat there, they had 700 stores and they numbered each store. And my very first day, I sat there, I did the treatment, Divine Mind, Divine Love, show me what to do. And it said, well, pull out the file that looks the fattest. So I opened a drawer, there was a big fat file, I pulled it out, I opened it up, I'm sitting there with this store file on my desk, and my boss in the other side of the wall shouts to me, Karen, what store number is Steamtown? And I looked down at the Steamtown file that was in front of me, and it said 688, and I went, 688! Silence. Because it was impossible for me to have known that store number. Impossible. But that just kept happening to the poor man. So that one day I was at the copy machine. Remember copy machines?
Yes.
Still have them around? Right. I was at the copy machine away from my desk, and he came out and he said, Karen, and I said, no. And he's like, what was I going to say? I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were going to ask about the status if I had heard back on blah, blah, blah. And he goes, I was back in the office because that's what he was going to do. But no, see, do you realize I wasn't that good? Every single day I prayed, God, tell me what to do, for almost 5 years. And it did a great job. And the few days, maybe 2 to 3, when I didn't listen to what it told me to do, I would end up not knowing the answer like that. This is love in action. This is love. And so Loyd Strom tells us the purpose of money is love, and that it will keep us in any relationship, whether it's a relationship with a person, with a company, with a piece of food. It will keep us in relationship with a community, with a weather pattern. It will keep us in relationship with pencils and with paper clips. It will keep us in relationship with our gardens. It's going to keep us in relationships wherever we need to learn how to love, as God created us to love, not according to our rules of, I'm only going to love if you treat me nice. I'm only going to love if, I've got that physical attraction to you, or I'm only going to love if I'm in a good mood or something like that. That's human ideas of love, and you all know where it gets us, right? I mean, you're human, right? You know where it gets us? I mean, miserable. He says, Loyd says, money leads to heartbreak. Whenever we do something just for the money, it will lead us into a place in our lives where healing needs to occur. It is money that takes us into the places in our lives where we need to learn to love. And so even when, it is no accident that we never seem to have enough money to get out of the kind of relationships that need to be healed in our lives. Have you noticed that? Maybe you physically get out of it, but even when we try to run away, we seem to recreate new versions of the same old failed relationships. Our human tendency is to look for love where we hope it will be easy to find. Money ensures that we look for it in the only place where we can find it, which is on the other side of our judgments and our fears. So how's your relationship with the stock market? How's your relationship with the government?
No comment.
And yet, money is going to keep us in these relationships until we learn to love. Now let's get clear, okay? We're talking about divine love and we're talking about divine guidance and its wisdom. Learning to love includes and must include learning to love yourself. So this does not mean that in learning to love, we keep allowing someone to hit us over the head with a hammer. No. And that's where a mistake a lot of people think. So what it means, again, think about my experience with my spouse, my former spouse, when I gave him the property in my heart. It did not mean that he and I get back together. It did not mean that I have any interaction with him. We don't have any interaction at all. It was all done in my inner relationship with my thoughts of him in my own heart, in my own consciousness. But so it never, never, never means that you should allow anyone to treat you with disrespect, because that's not accepting love for yourself. So we have to have love show us the way, because how can I love this person whose behavior is just absolutely atrocious and who I don't feel safe around? How can I love in that relationship? Well, the answer is you keep loving yourself as you're practicing learning to love this other being. But here's the thing, you're not loving the person, you're loving the idea that you have within you of that person. And maybe you don't like that person because they feel powerful over you. So learning to love this person who seems to have power over you, or this company or this job that has power over you, is actually learning how to accept your own power so that you're equal. And so that you're able to say, I don't want to work here anymore. It is appropriate to leave your job, to remove yourself from bad behavior, whether it's with another person or with a group or with a company. It's an act of learning how to love yourself, right? But see, what you're working on is spiritual practice. It's all within you. So it's not your behaviors. It doesn't mean, oh, divine love, show me what to say to this person, let me be kind, let me be kind. When a strong no is needed. No. 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 Because you have choice. So, human beings, right? God bless humanity, right? Not us in this room, right? Not those watching. But, right, we're all over the place about how love should look and how love should feel. And what we're saying now is, I don't know how to love. I don't know how it should look. I don't know how it should feel. And I certainly don't know how it should behave in this particular relationship that I have with so-and-so. All I know is that I need love to show me the way. Show me how to love this person and set myself free and set them free from the whatever it is that's causing so much heartbreak. Right? So it's all spiritual practice. It has nothing to do with what you do with them. You may do your spiritual practice and then you may say, I'm deleting you as a friend in my Facebook account forever, without ever telling them, right? Ghosting people, right? We got lots of ghosting going. Oh, that's bad, ghosting. Why is it bad? Divine wisdom may say, move away now and forever. But you keep doing that inner work so that you no longer feel threatened. You no longer feel afraid. You no longer are angry. You are no longer mixed up in some kind of transaction with the other person. You no longer have any connection of a financial nature with them, so that you're free and clear in your own self. And when we achieve that, then love leads us to wealth and prosperity. Money follows pure love. Not our best idea of love, but pure love. Money follows. So does that make sense to people? Do you know the difference here? Everybody get something?
Yes. Yes.
Get something you didn't want to get? Maybe you got something you want. You've got to argue about it afterwards with yourself. That's good. Anybody hate me because of what I said?
No.
Then you need to pay me money, right? Because money.
I didn't go feel
All right, so let's move forward. We have our collection, and I'll come back and I'll do a spiritual mind treatment for us to be free, right?
Free again.
Hi. So this is the time that we have our offering, your contribution to the Center for Spiritual Living Princeton. We're really grateful for it. God is lavish, unfailing abundance, the rich, omnipresent substance of the universe. This all-providing source of infinite prosperity is individualized as each one of you, the reality of you. So I'm going to pass around the basket.
There's a reason for the sunshiny day. There's a reason why I'm feeling so high. It must be season. Love light shines all around us. Let that feeling that deep inside and send this feeling where your love can't hide and go stealing through the moonlit nights with your lover. Let your love flow like a mountain stream, and let your love grow with the smallest of dreams, and let your love show that you know what I mean. For the season, it's the season. Let your love flow like a bird on the wing, and let your love blind you all different things, and let your love shine. You know what I mean, that's the reason. Let your love flow like a mountain streams, and let your love grow with the smallest of dreams, and let your love show. And you'll know what I mean, it's the season. And let your love fly like a bird on the wing, let your love find you all living things, and let your love shine. You know what I mean, that's the reason.
Yes. Thank you for everyone who also uses our PayPal account. You can find us in PayPal. You can go to cslchristian.org and click that donation button and donate to us from there. We accept this in joy and gratitude knowing that the Center for Spiritual Living Princeton is guided, guarded, protected, and completely financially supported in all activities. So thank you very much. Reverend Karen.
Okay. I was thinking as we were doing that offering practice that, I mean, who doesn't love the Center for Spiritual Living Princeton? I mean, so give that love. And maybe the money is the symbol, but who doesn't love this center? It's just such a loving center. Loving people. It just feels so good to be here always. Right? That's us. That's what we do.
Yes.
Right? And we work at loving each other, right?
Yes.
We do. All right, so this word is being spoken for each one and for the Center for Spiritual Living Princeton. All there is love, the love of God. Infinitely intelligent, it always knows how to express itself. And so it is love that is creating each one and forming around each one these beautiful relationships through which each one may learn how to express more love. And so each one is learning. Each one is expressing more intelligent, wise love than ever before. Each one is blessed and feeling freer and feeling this love circulating within their lives, their bodies, their cells, their veins, their arteries, moving out into the environment, and they see this love circulating as financial freedom, as money that is always supportive and always supporting each one in their highest experience of loving and living this life. And so each one knows that their purpose is to be the expresser of divine love, no longer confused about human opinions and beliefs regarding how that love should look or feel. Each one is free of all of that and able to be in right relationship with every single creature, every person, every being, every object, every idea, everything in this universe, because it is only one electron, one universe, one organism, one God, and it is loving itself completely. I am grateful that this is the truth, and I release this word to the divine's loving law. So grateful. Each one is love personified, and so it is.
So it is.
It is, right? Okay, Reverend Rich.
Listen,
Amen.